All right, everybody. I just gave you a quick rundown of how this show has helped position Todd professionally. And I want you to hear it from him. Todd, welcome to this webinar.
Hey, brother, it's nice to be here. It's always a pleasure talking to you about things that we've built together.
Did you have an inclination when we started EM Weekly of how much influence that show, positioning yourself as a thought leader in EM, was going to do for you?
No, not at all. And I think the genesis of Ian Weekly, what it was, what it turned into, and then what we were able to turn that leverage into something that's even better, bigger, and greater than I could ever have imagined.
One thing I briefly discussed prior to people getting to this video was the fact that you positioned yourself as a thought leader and garnered the recognition of FEMA, a federal agency. And it started off as, hey, I would like you to come on my show to talk about FEMA. And it progressed into FEMA calling you saying, director's got a new policy, a new program, a new initiative. Can we get time on your show?
Yeah.
Talk to me, man. I mean, that's got to be gratifying that they find the value in your show because you have the ear of the emergency manager.
That's a wild thing to think about, right? Like it goes from here you are, this obscure, like I really did not think I was going to have more than my students on listening to the podcast, to having 10,000 subscribers and having, people commenting on things that you're working on, actually sending you stuff saying, hey, I would like to see your opinion on this. Sometimes it's public and sometimes it's, hey, just keep this on the down low. It's something that we're working on. We'd love your opinion on it. It's really humbling and exciting at the same time.
When this journey started, we started realizing this is bigger than the initial intent of starting it. And we started planning, how can we leverage this? And the show really progressed into what it was when we exited the show. And we did exit the show, sold it in the back catalog. And Todd went on to create something even bigger, which was EMN Media. Talk to me a little bit about that before we close out.
So when I decided I was looking to either expand on what we're doing with EM Weekly, which is really the brand, I felt I needed to move away from that. I think I was attached to the brand too much, where everything was, oh, you're EM Weekly, you're EM. And I don't think that there would have been as EM Weekly being a part of what we were doing, whether that made sense. And so I decided to move away from the brand. And then I, entered into an agreement with somebody who purchased it. Could I have done it differently? Probably, but I think it was the right move to make at the time, for sure. And so we moved away from that, and then we brought in Leaders Cafe, we brought in Endem, we brought in a couple other products that we're doing that's associated with the EMN Media, and then really started doing some of the writing, more policy, leaning towards more policy stuff. And now we have 6 writers. We have a couple of different podcasts that are being spun out through that. We're doing more policy conversations through EMN Media than we could have done with just sticking with the one podcast.
You've grown into EMN Media, contributing authors, audio shows, video shows, and I reflect back on our journey because we produced EM Weekly for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
I look back on our journey and I'm glad I had just a little part in helping produce that show.
I appreciate that. So I could have done it without you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate your time. I know you probably have a million things to do right now, but thanks for jumping in and we will talk soon, I'm sure.
Talk to you later. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for everything you do.